His pictures are often seen in protests in Lebanon and across the world, accompanied by chants calling for his release. Activists call him the longest-held political prisoner in Europe. He has been incarcerated in this prison in southwestern France for decades. So who is Georges Abdallah? Georges Abdallah is a Lebanese activist who had a prominent role with the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine in the 1970s and was one of the founders of the Lebanese armed revolutionary factions known as LARF. LARF was a Marxist-Leninist urban guerrilla group that set out to fight Israeli occupation in Lebanon and Palestine. The group was founded in the late 1970s after the Israeli invasion of Lebanon left more than 1,100 Lebanese and Palestinians dead and over 100,000 displaced. LARF claimed responsibility for coordinating attacks against the Mossad and the CIA in France in the early 1980s. Abdallah was arrested in 1984 in Lyon, France, and was accused of assassinating an American military attache and an Israeli diplomat in Paris. He was given a life sentence after a controversial trial. At first, he was indicted for 18 months for holding a fake Algerian passport, and later he was sentenced to life after the authorities said they found new evidence tying him to the assassinations. Supporters of Abdallah say the evidence was fabricated by the French intelligence. 10 years after Abdallah's imprisonment, the former director of French intelligence, Yves Bonnet, revealed in his memoir that the French intelligence recruited an informant to spy on Georges Abdallah and LARF. Later, Abdallah's lawyer Jean-Paul Mazurier confessed he was the informant.
Il a décidé de profiter de sa fonction pour travailler pour les services secrets français.
J'ai quand même trahi, non pas Abdallah, mais j'ai violé tous les devoirs de ma profession.
Bonnet is now in favor of releasing Georges Abdallah.
À sa libération, et que ce n'est même plus une affaire judiciaire, c'est devenu une affaire politique, puisque c'est le pouvoir politique qui s'y oppose.
In 2013, a French appeals court granted Abdallah conditional release provided that he was deported to Lebanon. But his deportation was blocked by former French Interim Minister Manuel Valls. The US has publicly opposed the 2013 decision to grant Abdallah conditional release. Under French law, prisoners are allowed to be released on bail after 15 years in prison, but 35 years later, Abdallah is still behind bars.